Hello everybody, Muttley here, and welcome, finally, to the finale of the TASCAR series. Like most of the rest of the series, it's a little bit late, but like I said, most of the rest of the series has been like it, so it'd be weird if it wasn't at this point. Anyway, we are here at Homestead, underway now, starting from 13th position, and you can see my teammate just on my outside as well, started ahead of me in 12th. First time up in A lobby for an oval race. At the third and final time of asking. I'm not very good at ovals. Daytona was fun, but that was all flat out. You didn't have to lift off for any corners or anything. This one you do, and people start to get it wrong. Just on the first lap, as there was a bit of an incident on the outside. Fortunately, I'm on the inside, so it didn't really affect me too much. I think Assassin did get affected, though, as he was the third of the three cars that were three wide as we went around the other side of the track. Yeah. I mean, it's all very fast and very frantic at the start, as you would expect. I'm still up in 12th, which is up one position. I'd make that back to where I started in 13th. The 16 and the 10 there, both getting a very good run on me. And I now switch with nothing on my high side to the outside line, up behind the number 23. And using him to pull me along, getting a good run around the outside of the 10 car. And maybe trying to follow through. That looks like the 16's got a good move on the inside of the 23 to see if we can hold our outside line and make it work for me on the round the outside. Actually, the 23's hit the wall there, so is he going to block off the car on my inside? I don't know. I'm still stuck on the outside. It's a very long onboard clip, but I've run it just too high, touched the wall, and it just sort of magnetised me to it, and dropped right back from the pack. And here we have Assassin going past is also off the pack. He must have definitely got caught up in that incident earlier. So yeah, well, the one guy that was really involved in the incident is the only guy behind me, and you can see on the feet meter on the left hand side of the screen. It's a very long way back. So yeah, not really a lot of to happen once I dropped off the pack. There was another incident ahead, and one of the cars involved, not really the best thing to do after an incident, diving down towards the inside. Very fortunate that there's no simulation damage in this series, and he stayed ahead of me because of that. And I mean, even if he didn't, he would have got straight back past me, because look, he's gone. He's not even the car ahead of me. We've jumped 30 laps because absolutely nothing happened. I jumped to this point because you just saw that my tyres got my tyre. What do you call it? The percentage warning thingy came up. So yeah. Pit stop needed, and that's exactly what we're having in this clip. A little bit of a dodgy pit exit here at this track. You have to use this bit because the tyre barrier is on the left hand side, which is obviously the actual pit exit. But no, we can't use that because Forza. Yeah. So this entire race was very long and quite boring, and that's why that is a dodgy pit exit. That was a little bit of a scary moment, because you want to be attacking the corners and the car right there. So another big jump. Well, I say big jump. It was only 9 laps. It's not even that big of a jump. And I'm showing you this one because it's lap 55. And that was a good split that we just saw at the start of the clip. And there, what was that? A 33.48 something. That's the first lap that I've done that was quicker than my qualifying lap. It took me 55 attempts, and probably 50 of them were good flying laps, and I'm really pushing. And I just wanted to put it there because I wanted to emphasise that I've absolutely fluked my way into A lobby. I mentioned it's the first time I've got into A lobby in an oval. I'm just not quick enough to be here, really. So I'm running around in 16th, not 17th, because someone had an accident, and that's why I just don't really have the pace. I think there was maybe 1 or 2 guys at the back of the pack that I might have caught up with if I hadn't had a tiny incident at the beginning that dropped me off the pack. So obviously you get a little bit of a slipstream help if you can stay behind someone, but and that's what I can try and do here now I've been lapped, is try and use him as a little bit of a slipstream. But another big jump because it didn't really happen. It was quite handy really that those last 2 things happened at once. I put a good lap in and also got lapped because, I mean, yeah. Like I said, another big jump at lap 79.80, and there we come out at the start of lap 81 out of the pits in a dodgy moment as I nearly slide up onto the banking too early, and check the map now and thought fortunately there's no one behind me, so jumping up onto the banking for the exit nice and safely. The first bit was just a little bit scary with the proximity arrow that did briefly come up. So another 10 laps or so onto lap 92, and the car not immediately ahead of me but ahead of him has just come out of the pits. Although thinking about it now, I think that still might be someone that's a lap ahead of me. I'm not sure. Can you tell? I can't quite see. No, he's not. No. Yeah, that's 14th, isn't it? So, lap 92, and after a couple of pit stops have played out, you know, I might be able to challenge this guy. I mean, a couple of laps later, and it would suggest that I'm not going to be able to, because stuff like that keeps happening. Specifically going into that corner, I kept clipping that wall there. I don't know if it sticks out ever so slightly or something, or what it was, but yeah, it was one of the places I was really, really struggling. And the guy behind me, coming up to lap me, just closed in so much because of that mistake. So the next corner, once again, just sticking high, and you know, I just don't want to ruin anybody's race. So if I can just run around to the finish, take a 15th place if I can, that's better than it would have been whatever I would have done in B lobby. So speaking of 15th place though, it's going to turn into 14th because he's going really slowly. You'll have noticed that there's still over 50 laps to go, and I've already taken 2 pit stops. That's because I very early committed to a 3 stop. I think the maximum on, as much as it was the tyres that I've mentioned that have brought me into the pit so far, if you could deal with the tyre wear, fuel would get you maybe to within 10 laps of the end on a 2-stop strategy. So if you could do 5 laps worth of fuel saving per stint, you could get to the end on a 2-stop. And a couple of guys were trying that, including Assassin. So that will explain some of what's going to happen, or what happened and why I got past, is it the 16 behind me in the previous clip? And why I'm going to pass some other people, because that is what they're trying. So, yeah, not exactly a straight-up fight for pace. And it is all very crowded, because we've got lapped cars involved here as well. And so you saw me get lapped by the third-place car at the start of this clip. And I'm now going to put a move on my teammate for position, with a little bit of a touch, let's pretend that didn't happen, into the second turn. And then the 12th place car is going very high as well, as I run into the side of him trying to get past. Just one of those things. I think we merged on the lines, and now Assassin's going to come back at me with the better run, so I'm just going to lift off a little bit, let him turn in if he wants to. But you can see there, I lifted off that little bit to try and give him the line if he wanted it, but he didn't even end up in the corner ahead of me, because he's lifting off so much trying to save fuel. And you can see there in my mirror, he's not even directly behind me anymore. I think him and the 16 were the main 2 that were trying to do it on a 2-stop strategy. But as you can see, I've already made 2 stops. I don't know if they've made 1 or if they've made 2, but we're already... Where would they have been at this point if they were trying a 2-stop? I think they would have just made their second stop. And yeah, so lap 50 and lap 100 roughly. So we're just after that. So if they can get to the end, they're going to be doing well, because I'm about the same place on track, and I've got to pit again. So could be a very good strategy for them. Someone that isn't on that strategy though was the 85. He and I were definitely going to be battling it out for track position, because he was one of the cars I mentioned earlier. After the first sort of 10 laps, so he also dropped off the back of the main pack, and was someone that I was trying to chase down from like 500 feet back. But most of what you haven't seen was me driving around and watching the feet meter, seeing if I was closing in on him. And I seem to have pretty good pace. I don't know if he was doing anything different on his sort of in laps and out laps, but I did sort of start catching him at some key points like that. So, and it's culminated in me going past him here. The 16 has suddenly picked up the pace. I've said about how he was saving fuel. Maybe he's decided to bail out of it, I don't know. But putting the moves on me there around the first corner. And 46 laps to go, so if he's going to be picking up the pace like this, I've been doing about 40 lap stints, just rounding it down. You know, that's what my tyres are doing. Very safe on fuel. So, yeah, interesting to see if it's going to work out or not. We're jumping forward a couple of laps now. And it's one of the leaders is a lap ahead just behind me. So as the 16 clips the wall, he sees me go past and probably doesn't realise that the leader's there because he doesn't appear on the feet meter on the left, and goes to cut in ahead, not realising that there's 2 cars there, not one. And I think he slammed into the side of the leader and went for a little bit of a spin or something. It certainly wasn't particularly clean. And now another lap later, and it's just another case of me making sure I don't do something like that. I don't, like I said earlier, don't want to ruin any of these guys' races. They're a lap ahead of me. Yeah, nice clean move just to stay high, let them through. So my third and final pit stop then, with 33 laps to go. Is that quick maths? Not even going to double check it, and that's another scary moment. Me almost going up onto the banking way too early when there's a cart coming. Definitely not my favourite place to exit the pits, and we're up again behind Assassin and closing rapidly as we go past around turn 2, up into 12th place now. We've had a couple of DNFs. I think we started with 17 in the lobby, and we're now up down to 15, and I'm up to 12th. So there's definitely going to be some good points for me, more than I should probably have got if I put in a perhaps more representative qualifying lap. For a bit more context on that quali lap, I said I did a 0.5 and I didn't beat it again for another 55 laps. Like, I haven't done another lap that was quicker than my quali until this very lap that you're watching. I literally beat my qualifying lap twice in 151 attempts. My qualifying lap was I think it was a 0.500, and that was my personal best at that point by like a tenth of a second. And that's a massive margin when the lap times are 33.5 seconds. Yeah, so I've fluked my way into this lobby, but I'm really glad that I did, because it's a guaranteed better points haul than being in the lobby below. So, I tell you what, I even just about finished on the lead lap by the time it was all said and done. You saw the race ending thing pop up. Oh no, I've still got another lap to go. Yeah, okay, never mind. I was nearly 2 laps down, not nearly 1 lap down. I mean that just goes to show how far off of the leaders. And here it is. Have we gone past it now? I mean, that's more like my pace I was doing, half a second off. I mean, yeah. This hasn't been the most entertaining race, and it hasn't been the most entertaining race because I haven't really been competitive in this lobby. But it's guaranteed good points over perhaps where I should have been in the lobby below. So, very last corner for the last time now. 151 times I've been round this banking today. And, well, I say today, it was 8 days ago now, but you get the picture. You know what I mean. And there we are across the line in 12th place. Very, very happy with that. I mean, I would say it wasn't on merit, but, you know, I finished where I finished because I finished there, so it kind of is. Other people have done different things, and I've just driven around slowly, but I would say consistently, but it wasn't even consistent. I just kept my nose clean. So we've got the 16 is looking like they're going to... There he goes, across the line now. To finish directly behind me. Like I said, he was trying to save fuel, and you can see there as well, everybody bailed out. No one did make it on a 2-stop strategy. And then Assassin, quite a big gap as well. There he is across the line now. And so yeah, the 2 guys that tried a 2-stop and the guy that had the accident behind me. So yeah, the driver standings. That's the end of the series. That's where we finished, 4th and 5th for me and Assassin. Very, very happy with that. And we're the champions! 4th and 5th in the drivers is good enough for P1 in the teams. And all of a sudden my tone absolutely changes because we've won! We don't win things, that's not what we do. We race and we have fun. We don't win. You don't need to win to have fun. But oh, it did all feel good. Oh, I'm rambling absolute nonsense. It's brilliant. Oh, I love it so much. Oh, yeah, words elude me. So, I won't subject you to too much of my nonsense. Thanks for watching this episode and this series, and I'll see you soon for whatever's next. Goodbye.